There we go. Mike, can you hear me?
Can hear you. Shavila, you're good.
Okay.
But there we go. I think I should be unmuted now. Is that right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. I'm having a little bit of a lag time.
I don't like this WebEx deal. It's just a pain.
Are you a fan
I was
of
trying
Zoom?
to get it on the computer so I could have it more accessible, and I couldn't do it.
Are you on your phone?
Yes.
That'll do it. The phone, I don't know. My phone was too small. I was going to try and do it.
Yeah. There's Gustavo.
Okay, it's 5:30. Do we have everyone here? Okay. I see Mr. Avila, Mr. Kazin, Mr. Gomez.
Right.
I don't see anyone else.
Do we have anybody that called in or tried to call in?
Not that I can see.
I see two people calling in. There's two callers. If they can identify themselves. There's two phone numbers. If not, I can kick them out if we don't know who they are.
See, there's two phone numbers, but they're muted. So I don't know if they're trying to speak and they're muted.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Who's calling, please?
Out.
I muted both of the callers, but we're not getting any audio.
Okay, this is Rosie Centeno in Hinojosa.
Okay.
That's Miss
Thank you, Rosie.
Centeno is calling user number 3. So I don't know who the other number would be.
Hello, this is Rosie Centeno in Hinojosa, Juan.
Thank you, Rosie.
Okay, I hope we get connected good.
I hope so.
That's 4, so we're still missing one more.
Who else is on?
From
Mike.
From the committee, it's only you, Mr. Kazin, Mr. Gomez, and Ms. Centeno.
There's Yesenia.
Okay, she just connected.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
There she is.
Okay.
Hey, I like it. Yesenia.
Yes?
Nice job. I saw your postings. That was not bad.
What post?
The one that you did last. I'll screenshot you on it. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay.
Okay, it's 5:33. Let me get this started. So it's 5:33, Tuesday, August 11th. I'll go ahead and call roll call. Mr. Juan Avila,
Present.
Mr. Luis Gomez,
Here.
Mr. Richard Geisler, absent. Mr. Mike Krieger,
present.
Mr. Alan McGraw, Ms. Yesenia Escobedo,
Present.
and Ms. Rosie Centeno Hinojosa.
Present.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir.
I'll go ahead and open up. I didn't see, we did not have any submissions for public comments. Sandy, did we have any submissions?
No, we did not.
Go ahead and move on to, we do have the approval of the minutes from not this last meeting, but the previous one back in, I would say February.
Yes, it was February 11th, 2020. And the last meeting that we the board asked to make the correction from 2019 to 2020, so we made that correction.
Yes, if you see your packet on the top, the date does indicate Tuesday, February 11th, 2020, so the correction was made.
Okay, if the correction was made, and I would like to move that we approve those minutes.
Thank you, Rosie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Everybody is in approved, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Villarreal.
Yes, so minutes are approved. We'll go ahead and move on to member district reports. Usually when we try to bring it in, I guess first we've had the chairman on the agenda. So if any reports, any updates he wants to bring in reference to his district, I guess in particular to a lift or metro transportation, anything that's been ongoing, just a general district report.
Excuse me, Gustavo, can we also approve the minutes for July 14, 2020? It was just a short meeting, but just so we can approve those minutes as well.
Oh, okay, I didn't see those, my bad. Yes, okay, yes, they are attached. If we could have it reviewed, there pretty much was no meeting, so it's just the basic stuff. So I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and approve. They are on your packet if you want to take a look at them.
Yes, I saw them. I would like to move that we approve them. It was just very little, but it would still, I would like to move to be approved.
Thank you, Ms. Centeno. Mrs. Escobedo?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Mr. Avila? Mr. Avila?
Go ahead.
Just to let you know that we had a death in one of the drivers of the Metro vans, Mr. James Newland.
Oh, I know Mr. Newland. Very nice gentleman. Very good employee.
He was a very good employee. He passed away, I think, Friday.
Oh my God.
Of last week. Yes, we lost him to the due to the COVID. That's bad.
Okay. Oh, and I know Mr. Miguel sent out an email, and I thank him for that update, and for the updates that we've been getting lately. But yes, at this time, fellow members, if we can take a moment of silence for our former employee and van lift driver that I know that he worked very, very hard. He was a very hard-working man. I had the honor to work with him. Very respectful, very forward. I mean, you couldn't say anything bad about that gentleman. Nothing at all. I had nothing but positive comments about it.
He was my driver for over 2 years when I used to work at the food bank, and he was an excellent driver and an excellent person. I really, really dreadly don't appreciate what happened, but what can we do? Bless his heart. May he rest in peace.
Amen to that. If we could just hold a brief moment, Mr. Villarreal, just go ahead and just brief a moment, and everybody each in their own way. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Sandy, you're taking over. Who's going to be heading forward? Mr. Villarreal or Sandy?
Ms. Sandy will go ahead and give the reports. I'm just giving out the order of the meeting.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead, like I had mentioned,
Well, before we do that, Mr. Chairman, if I may, did we take a vote on approving the minutes?
Oh, no, you're just missing the vote for the July minutes. There was a motion by Ms. Centeno, second by Mrs. Escobedo, and you just need the votes.
All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Motion carries.
Okay, there, you did go ahead and approve both minutes. we did not have, like I mentioned, no public comments, no forms were submitted. And we'll go ahead and move on to item number 5, which is members district report. Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to mention anything.
The only thing that I would like to mention is that I have noticed that we have been getting a little bit more, well, let me rephrase that. We have gotten an excellent report from Monica Garcia on a weekly basis that we've seen it. I'm very, very appreciated, and I've spoken to her on the phone personally, that she's doing an outstanding job. I really appreciate those reports that we've talked about. Also that, we'll see the difference on the money wise, hopefully here within the next 2 weeks, since we started charging back up again. Hopefully I saw I saw red flags as far as I could tell, the loss of revenue that, it's been hard for everybody, but hopefully here soon we can come back and be together as,
Mr. Avila, I have not received no report.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Avila, I have not received no reports.
You haven't received report from Monica?
No, sir.
They're on an email communication basis, Ms. Centeno.
I'm sorry?
They are sent on emails when Monica, I believe she does press releases. She goes ahead and copies all PAC members.
Well, I haven't gotten a call from her. I haven't gotten a report from her. I don't know where she's sending them to.
They are sent through email.
Well, you know that I've told you if they could send them to me in paper,
Yes, for the
it'd be much better.
Yes, for the PAC reports, we do send them through paper, but through the press releases, they're sent. I know she's been copying the PAC members, so press releases that are released through email for immediate distribution are sent through an email.
Well, I have not received them through email either. I don't think you all have my email. I don't think you all have my email. Since the very beginning, I told you.
Yes, we do have it, Ms. Centeno, on file.
Well, nothing has been sent to me, that I can tell you.
Could we verify the email? Is it okay to verify the email, Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, it's right here. It is rcenteno0127@gmail.com.
Correct.
That's the email we have on file.
That's the one I have. You're correct.
Okay. Sometimes you might want to look under spam, Ms. Centeno, for whatever reason. Look over there, and if not, please let us know so we can go ahead and call Mrs. Parza or Mr. Herrera so they can check on that.
Okay, I will. Let's continue with the meeting because I want to have a meeting today.
Thank you.
Mr. Avila, anything else you want to mention under your chairman, district report?
I would like to move Mr. Herrera, I would like to move the item to nominate a vice chairman for our PAC meetings, please, for our board.
You would like to move item, the appointment of vice chair, you'd like to move that item up?
Yes, please. Can I have a motion, please?
I so move.
Thank you. Second. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kazin. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. It's been members of the board. It's been very hard, and staff. It's been very hard to make a decision as far as who I myself personally. And let me stop right there. Is there anybody that would like to nominate anybody for vice chair at this time? Is there anybody that would like to nominate?
I would like to nominate Mr. Kaysen. I so move to nominate Mr. Kaysen.
Okay, Mr.
For vice
Kazin.
chair.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. All this in, Ms. Escobedo, would you like to nominate anybody? Let me go one by one.
No.
No. Who else was the gentleman? What was the gentleman's name on the line? I'm sorry, I lost it.
Mr. Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, would you like to nominate anybody?
No, it's fine.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We got Mr. Kazin with one vote, with one nomination.
Yeah, don't we need a second or something on that?
Yeah, Miss Centeno. I guess Miss Centeno.
We have Ms. Centeno.
Yeah, she motioned to move, so I don't know if there's a second. And then before you guys take it to vote.
Yep.
I make the motion, Mr. Avila.
Right.
Someone needs to second my motion, or?
We're fixing to go to that.
I'll second the motion.
You'll second it?
I'll
Did you
second.
catch that, Mr. Gabriel?
Yes, you have a motion by Ms. Centeno to nominate Mr. Kazin, and you have a second by Mr. Gomez. However you want to take it to vote.
Okay, last call. Anybody else? At this time, I would like to nominate Ms. Yesenia Escobedo for vice chair.
Mr. Avila, I don't know if you, since Ms. Centeno made the motion, I don't know if you guys want to vote on it, and if you guys don't agree, that way you strike down the motion, and then you can motion to nominate Ms. Escobedo. Because right now,
Okay, let's go ahead
There's a
and do
motion
Mr.
and a
Kazin
second,
first.
Mr. Avila.
But did we?
There's a motion on the floor and a second. We need
But
to
did
vote on
we-
it, and then
I got you.
That's
Ms.
Quick question on it, though. We didn't close the floor for nominations, though, did we?
no, we haven't.
We
So
have-
I therefore nominate Ms. Esparza. I mean, Ms. Escobedo. Sorry about that.
Escobedo. Okay. So we have 2 nominations for Mrs. Escobedo, and we have 1 nomination for Mr. Kazin. Am I correct?
yes.
Okay, now can I have a motion to close up the nominations, please?
I motion to close the nomination.
Can we have a second?
I'll second.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, you
At
have a
this time, we'll
motion.
go ahead and we'll close up nominations.
Yes, you have a motion by Ms. Centeno and a second by Mr. Kazin, just for the record, since there was two seconds, but we're ahead for Mr. Kazin. So nominations are closed.
Wait, the second would be for what? I was.
The closing of nominations.
It was closing up the nominations.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Since we're doing it through WebEx, there's no way to draw little papers like we've done before, so we'll put Mr. Kazin, he was nominated first, so we'll go up with Mr. Kazin. All this in favor for Mr. Kazin to be the vice chair for the Paratransit Committee member. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I don't know if you want to call them one by one instead of everyone saying aye, maybe more clarification.
It's
Ms.
better.
Centeno?
Go one by one. I
Ms.
vote for
Centeno?
Mr. Kaysen. For Mr. Kaysen.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Gomez?
Vote for Mr. Kazin.
Ms. Escobedo?
I'm gonna go ahead. Did he accept the nomination?
They're doing the voting, and then once the voting, then we'll see if he wants to, whoever gets the nomination, if they want to accept it.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Sure, I'll vote for Mr. Kaysen.
Mr. Kaiser? And what's 1, 2, 3? Who would be me? I'll go ahead and make the recommendation for Mr. Kazin.
And Mr. Kazin.
We have one more. Who's the last one, Mr. Villarreal? I got Centeno.
Centeno.
I already said Ms. Kazin. Escobedo said Kazin. Mr. Gomez said Kazin. Centeno said Kazin.
Mr. Kazin hasn't voted.
Yeah, Mr. Kazin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right. I guess I'll vote for myself then. If Mrs. Escobedo voted for me. So
now let me ask you, would you take, okay, so we have all the votes on the floor. Mr. Kazin, are you willing to accept the nomination for vice chair for the traffic committee?
yes.
Thank you. Mr. Villarreal, now we'll go into vote, is that correct?
Yes. So,
okay.
So you have nominated Mr. Kazin. You have 5 votes for Mr. Kazin. None of you guys want to do a motion to?
Let's do a motion just to make sure that we have it correctly.
I guess you have a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Kazin as vice chair.
I so move to approve. To appoint Mr. Kazin as the vice chair.
Thank you, Rosie.
You're welcome.
Can I have a second?
Second it.
I'll second it.
Moment to second in the motion. Any discussion? Everybody in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes. Aye. I don't hear it.
You have 1 aye.
I said aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Kazin, and congratulations for being appointed. You're back to your old seats almost.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. Yeah, it is an old seat. I had this position for a while, but thank you all very much.
Thank you for accepting, Mr. Kazin.
Well, thank you all for, I guess, nominating and voting for my nomination. So thank you all for that.
Thank you.
And
Okay, so we can go ahead and move on with our meeting, going back to our regular agenda.
Okay. I don't know if you want to. We also have on item number 5. Item number 200. It's district reports. I don't know if your members have any district reports in reference to air transportation.
I'm having a hard time listening. Mike, can you hear him?
I'm not talking. I'm barely talking.
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm having signal problems. Apparently, I'm hearing some things kind of like popping. I don't know what that is.
Same thing I am.
As I mentioned, our next item was the district reports by the members. So I don't know if you want to have your members individually mention something they want to mention in reference to their district, what's being done and what they have done. Or would you like, unless you want a motion to move on to staff reports?
Is there any discussion on those reports by any chance from the board? Any discussion on those reports?
I just have a question, and it's really on more what you touched on earlier, which was on the finances. Is there any monies that are going to come available for addressing the shortfall at any point?
Mr. Avila or members, I don't know if you guys want to vote to bring up Maybe I don't know if you guys want to close up the members district report, move on to staff reports, and bring up budget report. Maybe so that's more in the scope of it for those discussions.
Okay, make a motion to go ahead and close up the district report, please.
I so move.
Second.
Second. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kagan. Any discussion? Everybody in approval, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll go ahead and go to staff reports.
We go ahead and go down the line.
Or did you want to skip to the budget summaries?
Mr. Avila,
Monday.
would you like to take it in order? We follow as the agenda.
Let's follow the agenda the way it should be. That way we won't be going back and forth. The only reason I moved that item up was to get it going a little bit quicker.
Okay, sounds good. Then, Ms. Esparza, the floor is all yours.
Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it.
You might not see it on your computer, but yeah, go ahead and share it, and there you go.
Can you see? What can you see?
Just put it full screen.
And lift year-to-date ridership.
Can you see it?
You moved it down. Put it one more time. Open up. There you go.
Okay.
Right there.
All right. So I'm basically going to go over the ridership for the past 3 months. You'll see the decrease from May, June, and July. So in May, we had about 4,000. Last year we had 4,000 riders, and this year we had 1,825. For the month of June, a big comparison from last year was we had 3,334, and this year we had 1,946. For the month of July, the total ridership was 1,721 riders compared to last year 3,850. You're gonna be seeing the monthly reports for the cancellations. We had a total of 549 cancellations for the month of July. We had 639. I'm sorry, that does not add correctly, but that number on top is not correct. But cancellations, there were 639. No shows, there was 55, and cancellations made through the phone was 36. The end of the month registered customers report. We registered 3 new clients, and we renewed 1 customer, with a total of 4 for the month of July. For the mobility report for boarding wheelchair passengers, we had 24 passengers, and we have a total of 201 wheelchair customers. The next report you'll see route boardings report for this year. For the month of July, we had 149 wheelchair boardings for the fixed route service. The next report that you'll see.
I believe Mrs. Centeno has a question.
No, I haven't heard how many, but I did. After she repeated it, I did. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
The next report is the maintenance status report. For the month of July, we had a total of 13,934 miles traveled for the Lyft vans. We had a total of 1 road call for the month, and all on-time performances were at 100%. For the fixed route buses, for the month of July, we had a total of 158,844 miles traveled.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think that I had asked this when I first came into the group. The PMI on time. What does that mean?
The what? I'm sorry.
The percent on PMIs on time.
The performance maintenance.
Preventive
Okay.
maintenance inspections.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so I do not see the budget report, the budget table here. Do you have it with you on your screen?
Let me see if you can. It's not there. Let me go ahead and open it, and I'll go ahead and share it on my site.
Okay. So that pretty much sums up the report on my end, and Mr. Villarreal is going to go over the budget summaries.
Mrs. Parza, I have a question.
Yes.
How many vans do we have going right now?
Right now, we currently have 8 vans in service from Monday through Friday, and we have 3 vans on Saturday and 2 vans on Sunday.
3 for Saturday, 2 for Sunday.
Correct.
And why only
And
8
8?
go during the week? May I ask that? Because I know that the drivers are rushing. Remember, I use a service. And one time on a Wednesday, I go in at 12 to work, and they came to pick me up at 12. So I got late to work. And then that same week, they came to pick me up 10 till 8. There's no way I'm going to get to work in 10 minutes from where I live to where I work. And I know it's not because the drivers want to. It's because they're rushing. Because they only have eight vans working. And sometimes it's not enough.
Can you elaborate on that, Mrs. Parza?
Ms. Centeno, hold on. Ms. Centeno, I do apologize for that inconvenience, but in order for me to address customer concerns, I can call you at a later time today or tomorrow morning, and we can go over your concern.
That's okay, fine. That's fine, Ms. Esparza. I understand. But I do understand that I think with 8 vans, and you have the customers that need the vans. I mean, we cannot punish the customer to get late to where he or she needs to go because we don't have enough vans out there. Or maybe we didn't have enough drivers. I don't know.
The vans that we have in service right now are according to the demand of service that we have currently right now. We do have a incredible amount, a decreased amount in ridership. So that's why there's been a decrease in the amount of vans per week, Ms. Centeno.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand, Mrs. Parza. And it happens sometimes, I know. But when you need the vans, you need the vans. When you need to pull out another van, you need to pull out another van.
Mr. Avila, I think what Mrs. Parza was also trying to say is, I guess in order to discuss maybe any, if you want to word it as route concerns, I guess it'd be best for future references if it's going to be brought up to make sure we put something on the agenda because we really don't have something within the scope.
Okay. I'm sorry that I brought it up,
That's
but
fine.
I thought I'd have to bring it in.
I'm just trying to keep it good. That way we don't go out of line with anything we discuss. That way we stay within the agenda and what we're allowed to speak about.
Okay, then I would like to say the following. I would like a report. I would like a report to where y'all are showing us the number of ridership per van. I don't want the names. I want them to see how many wheelchairs and how many people are actually just, stepping into the van throughout the day and the time frames, because I know that there's a time frame that every time they get in and out, they have to clean it, disinfect it. So I would like to ask for a report for y'all to tell us on the next meeting the time frame for cleaning, how many passengers. We're hearing some echoes in the back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir?
The echo is coming in from Ms. Centeno. It's picking up background audio from Ms. Centeno.
Okay. members of the board, if you are, I want to ask you with all due respect, if you're not speaking at the time, please go ahead and mute your mic so we won't get that feedback in the back.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's the people that came.
No,
in,
you're
they're
good.
going
You're
out
fine.
already.
You're fine. Okay. So what I was speaking, going back, I would like a report of showing us, per se, how many wheelchairs do we have on that van, per van. I don't want just one van particularly. I want 8 vans that Mrs. Paras is talking about, so we can get an idea, because of the fact that I know they're taking time to disinfect when they, are dropped off wherever before the next passenger, or at least I'm thinking that's the way they're doing it. And I know it takes probably 5-6 minutes more out of the time. Drivable wise, yes, it's a lot of time consuming. So Mrs. Parza or Mr. Villarreal, whoever, if we can get a report on that for the next meeting, I would really appreciate it. That way we can get a sense of an idea of why are there been some delays on customers. I'm just going to put it at that. And let's try to figure something out, because I know it's Mr. Villarreal, what you said, that we were supposed to be on topic, but I've received some calls myself where people are not getting the service that they're asking for. So therefore, I would like to see that report hopefully by the next meeting. And I would like to make a motion for that. If anybody else can please elaborate on that, I would appreciate it.
Mr. Avila, can you be a little bit more elaborate on that report? Because you're asking for two types, you're asking for 2 items. Time frame for cleaning and ridership. How many passengers in a wheelchair per van? Is that correct?
No. How many wheelchairs per van? In other words, okay, let's say myself and Mr. Kazan, we're in a wheelchair. We're getting in there. How much time does it take from point A to point B at the time of drop-off? How much more time did it take to disinfect the space where I was so you can get the other passenger in? That way they'll let us know. That way they'll let us know if we're running behind schedule due to for them having to disinfect and do extra chore, or is it that they are crowded up? We need to find the free, because I understand I've had drivers and I've spoken to them, because they know me and I know them, that they're getting crowded up in the van, and that's their major complaint. But again, I'm going to stay with Mr. Villarreal's word. That's what I'm saying. I want to put something on the agenda for next one where we can speak on it and tell y'all what the drivers have spoken their concerns.
Mr. Chairman, if I may be allowed to make some comments, please.
Go ahead, Ms. Miguel. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. So a couple of things regarding the capacity of a lift. That's pretty much our job, to determine the needed resources, whether equipment or employees. That's pretty much the or duty of Miss Sandy and the rest of the team there in operation. So with that said, I would like to clarify that just by looking at the ridership, very simple math, and I know Ms. Escobedo will appreciate this when it comes to statistics. We were transporting an average of 3,000 passengers early in January with 13 vans, Sandy, or 15 vans?
13, Ms. Amiga.
13 vans. So now we're under 2,000.
Yes.
So simple math is going to give you a ratio, simple math, but we're definitely not going to be doing simple math. But I just want everybody to keep that into perspective. The number of hours are going to vary, the revenue hours. That's really what is going to determine what is needed. The number of revenue hours, and that's important to keep in mind. The number of vans out there are in line with the passengers at that time. So right now we have 8 vans, Sandy.
I'm sorry.
This guy can negotiate.
What was that, Ms. Amiga?
I'm not sure if
I'm
somebody is
sorry,
not
I'm,
More
unmuted.
on those y ya tenerlo, presentar lo que nos faltaba. But now we have the accounts and the grants.
I believe that's Mr. Villarreal's mic.
Before they take them, before nos digan que ahí tenemos dinero.
Mr. Villarreal,
Hello?
Yeah,
Mr. Villarreal,
I went ahead and muted myself. I'm sorry for that.
thank
So
you.
I just want everybody to keep that
Mr.
into
Miguel.
perspective. Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't, the last words, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you anything because of the,
Okay.
the
So,
stuff going on in the back. Could you go back on that, elaborate on the very last parts?
well, I'm not sure exactly where it was lost, but basically, I want everybody to keep in mind the number of passengers that we were transporting with 13 vans as compared to the number of passengers that we are required to transport right now. So,
Okay.
El Metro is running as an enterprise, basically, keeping in front the revenues that we receive, which are very limited right now, to what we're doing. So, I want everybody to keep that in mind. The software
Okay,
that we're using, which is the same software that much bigger transit agencies are using, is pretty much telling us the capacity that we need. And that capacity, we're not making it up. Nobody's making it up. It's based on the need, based on the demand. It's a software used by multiple transit agencies. So we're not coming up with, we need 9 vans or we need 7 vans. It's based on demand.
Okay.
Like Ms.
And I,
Parsa was trying to explain. And I would appreciate if I can explain this part of the
well,
conversation.
the thing
Otherwise,
Mr. Miguel, the thing is that hold on a second. The thing is that Mr. Villarreal stated that we needed something on the agenda in order for us to speak on and elaborate. I'm just asking what I want for the following meeting. I appreciate the cooperation and I appreciate the discussion, but I'd rather wait and have it on the agenda when we are set and ready to go to discuss it.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify the information that we already have on hand. I mean, more information is just gonna make this more complex, but okay, we'll wait.
I'm sorry, that's what I'm asking for, and that's what I would like for it to be done.
Not a problem. More information will be on the table.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I add
Now,
something
could I
to
have
that?
a motion? Could I have a motion on that so we can put it on the next meeting, please? Which would be on the September.
I so move.
Thank you, Rosie. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kazin, thank you. Mr. Villarreal, I'm sorry. Any other discussion or any other questions that you might want to add before we finalize it?
I'd like
Mr.
to,
Toledo?
yes, I'd like to bring something up to discussion. Ms. Claudia, thank you for sharing the information. I think it was very useful. I understand what you're talking about in regards to the ratio of like money that the transportation department currently has. So I wanted to ask if we can bring this up maybe in our next meeting, how much money, or do we have that in our current report? How much money it has gone down based on that ratio? Not only that, but if there are people that are not being attended well as a result of the decrease in revenue, is there money that we can pull in from a different place? Or what is it that we can do to fix that? Is it possible, or who do we need to talk to in regards to that? Because I feel that if we do have a limited capacity or a limited amount of funds, right, to allocate to drive these passengers, because it has decreased because of coronavirus, I think that we should at least understand and be able to give these riders an explanation other than we just can't do it, right? So we need to hold our city councils accountable to the funds that they are providing to the transportation department, and that includes paratransit. So I just feel like if we don't have that information on our reports, that's something that we should have. But yes, again, thank you for that information that you shared.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. We have a motion by Mr. Centeno and a second by Mr. Kazin. Any other discussion? Okay, can we go ahead and take the vote on it, please? Everybody else, anybody else, before we take the vote on it? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Mr. Villarreal, is there a possible way that we can mute when we hear these noises? Because it's hard, it's really hard. Do you have control of that?
Yes, let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and mute myself. It's
Okay, so we did have the motion and we did pass. Can we go to the next item, please?
the next item would be the budget report. That was not included there. Let me go ahead and display it on my screen. Let me go ahead and pull it up.
That's the one that Mrs. Parza didn't have, right? That you're putting up?
Yes, let me go ahead and pull that up.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. And there you go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so on our line items on our operations, support services and administration and maintenance, our yearly budget of 56,622. Up to the last update, which was August 11th, our expenses year to date has been 43,000 with $48. So leaving us a balance of 13,574. Our fuel and lubricants, we have a budget of 97,000. And our expenses are at approximately 72,000, giving us a balance of 25,000. On our insurances, we have 131,000. Our budget, our expenses are 128,748, and our balance is 2,255. On our IT, we have a budget of 35,871. Our expenses year to date have been 26,498. And our balance is 9,373. And on our personnel, we have a budget of 1,354,771. Our expenses have been at 1,201,334, and leaving us a balance of 153,438. And we still have 2 months to go.
That was going to be my next question. Our new budget comes out in October. Is that correct, Mr. Guerrero?
Till October 1st, so we still have August and September pay periods to go.
September.
Wow.
So as Ms. Sanmel had mentioned, we are going to start running in the reds.
It's going to be running low there for a minute.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on the budget report?
Yes.
So,
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. That's fine.
No, you're really, I was just going to bring back the question that I had a while back, which was, are there any monies that have been allocated or set aside on the state or federal level that would be used for this at this time to cover any of the shortfall that we have, budgetary shortfall, either because of the pandemic or because of any other disaster monies or anything that could be utilized to offset?
I think it's a pandemic that did this, because for about 3 months or 4 months, they didn't charge us. They just started charging us the 1st of July.
Yes,
And
there's also
got it low.
Yes, Ms. Centeno, I understand that, but there's also several different, at least on the federal level, several different acts that have been passed that may or may not be allowed to do this. One is basically a disaster order. Another one is specifically for stimulus. Another one is
Right, right.
the PPP, and different things. But I'm not sure if any of those apply here. And I was just kind of curious if we did have anything out there that was available or that may have been identified for services like this, whether
I think there
applying
is
through.
something available. I don't know what there is available, but I feel, Mr. Jason, that there should be something available. Maybe Ms. San Miguel can answer to that.
Yes, Mr. Kaysen, and the Sierra Laredo was awarded funds under the Federal Transit Administration CARES Act that should supplement the operations and maintenance expenses for the transit system. So the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Do we know if there's going to be, if they will at least assist in keeping some of the deficit from happening, or if the monies that were allocated weren't sufficient for that?
The funds as allocated right now should get us through the remaining of this fiscal year. Next fiscal year will be a different story. It all depends on how the pandemic develops here at the local level, whether business open or not, whether, there's a lot of different situations. So at this point, if the pandemic continues, we're definitely not going to make it next year. So really, it will be for me, to speculate on what's going to happen. I can tell you that for this remaining of this fiscal year, we're going to be okay. But then again, for the next year, there have not been any other announcements, either from Federal Transit Administration or the Department of Transportation for additional fundings for transit, specific to transit. So that's pretty much all the information.
Mr. Miguel, how much money was how much money was brought in from federal, as far as who assisted? Who did you say assisted with this funding?
The Federal Transit Administration.
Who did it come from? I'm sorry?
Federal Transit Administration awarded different transit agencies with funding. The Sierra Laredo was awarded with $9.8 million. And all of that was public records through City Council.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Villarreal?
Any other discussion on it? That's the last one.
Can we have a motion to approve the staff reports? That's all the reports. Is that correct, Mr. Villarreal?
That was item number 6.
Mr. Chairman, I believe Ms. Escobedo might have had a question before I asked mine.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Mrs. Escobedo, go ahead.
That's fine, Miss Claudia. That's fine. Miss Claudia answered it in her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Villarreal, there's no other report, right? That's it?
There is.
As far as staff report.
There is 2 more items. I don't know if you want to go through them. If you look at the agenda, I'm not sure if you have it in hand, or if not, I'll go ahead and share it.
Can you share it for me real quick? Thank you. Let's go ahead and continue on.
I guess it's item number 8. Miss Sandy, do you know what was added for the public health emergency orders? I'm not seeing it here on the packet. Let me bring it up for you. Here's the memo.
Gustavo.
Yeah, that item was just to share the information with the members regarding the city manager directive in reference to meetings and gatherings. So that was pretty much information for everybody as far as the direction on using WebEx and any other virtual mode of communication. So that was pretty much just an information for the members. No action needed.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Rivera.
And the next item, the last item on the staff reports would be we have Mr. Adrian Chavera, our Chief Safety Officer, for the staff update just on a certification that El Metro received. Mr. Adrian, the floor is yours.
The attachment should be there, Gustavo. If you scroll all the way to the bottom.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Soto around?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Mr. Avila,
Go ahead.
is Ms. Soto participating in the meeting?
Yes, she is, Ms. Centeno.
Okay, I just have a question on the safety. I've been reading what Mr. Adrian, or whatever his name is, sent us, and I did speak to her on the new van. I think they're a little bit hazardous for us. I know they're very sophisticated and they're very pretty, but there's two little things that are not that great. It doesn't have any stairs, and I know that's good because it has a ramp. But the ramp, the part that starts in the top, it's not very. Because I saw it with a gentleman that we picked up. He was wearing a brace and was using a cane, and he almost fell on that ramp because it's not the same as the ramps that we have on the second part of the second set of vans that we got. And then to go to the seat, it's a very far distance, and the stair is very high. And I complained to Ms. Soto about it. And I was not the only one that complained, because there was somebody there that also said, I don't like it because of the high step that it has when you go into the seats. Did you check the specs, Ms. Soto, like you told me you were?
Yes, Ms. Centeno.
Ms. Soto?
Yes, ma'am. And it's the same specs that were used on the other vans.
Well, they're definitely different than the second set of vans, that I can tell you.
The setting, the way the seats are set, it's a little bit different because it's a ramp that the driver needs to open and use to let the riders in.
No, I understand. Like I said, I've driven on those ones too. But like I said, I saw it with a handicapped man that wears a brace and a cane. And that ramp wasn't the best thing for him. He almost fell there. And then to get up in the stair, to sit down in the chair, it's pretty high. That's the only thing I have to tell you.
Okay, Mr. Adrian, if you want to continue, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion on the reports from members of the board? Any other discussion before we make a motion to accept the reports? Okay, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to accept the reports that were presented to us. Can I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Centeno. Can we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kazin, thank you. Any further discussion? Everybody else in agreeable, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Go ahead, Mr. Villarreal.
The next item on the agenda is, I see it is under, do you guys have your items or should I leave the screen shared?
I have my list, but for the sake of others, perhaps having it on display, I think.
There you go. The next item is under Mr. Chairman, ribbon cutting event for new bands.
That's an old item, Mr. Avila, that was there many months
I
ago.
think that's been there for about 2 meetings past, no?
Yeah, so
Before we,
we kept putting the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
we kept putting the same item so we can so it can be talked about and then removed. So if you want us to remove it, we can, since we already sent out the news release on the new vans, and we could not have a ribbon cutting due to the pandemic. So we sent a photo to the media, and I believe you received those emails as well. We sent it out with the press news release and photos attached to it as well.
Okay. Mrs. Parfa, is there a possible way that we could see the bands like on an individual basis? Like if any board member would like to go see the bands, can they see them?
According to the memo, I don't think it'd be allowed to our work safe. According to the memo that was sent out by management, it does say that all employees must refrain from meeting, visiting other city departments in person. So it pretty much limits us to what can and can't be done.
Okay, can we ask for like a video as far as y'all creating one from the inside of the van, especially the new ones, to see the differences that Mrs. Centeno is talking about? I'd like to see that.
A video of inside the van?
Yes.
Or photos? I'm not sure if we can share. I don't know how we would be able to share a video, but I mean, we can ask our IT department.
If we can, please. That way you can show it to us. And what Mrs. Centeno and what Ms. Soto were talking about, that they're the same. That way we can see what differences there is that we're talking about, and what Ms. Soto's saying that it's the same as the other band. Just to get a better understanding on it, a better view on it, since we haven't had the pleasure of seeing it because of this pandemic.
Sandy,
Yes.
we can request information from the manufacturer and just be able to forward that.
Ms. Amiel, I believe, I can't remember how many meetings ago this was, but we did provide the specifications on one of the meetings, and they were attached to on the packet as well. It had all the specifications on the new vans these vans that we just received, and we I can't remember how many meetings ago this was, but we did attach all those specifications on them. If we don't have them, yes, we can send them again.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I believe I remember that meeting, but weren't those technical specs, not necessarily the pictures of the individual items that we're requesting? And I believe it's just a simple matter of taking a video or a picture and uploading it just the same way as these other reports have been, so that we can see them at our next meeting. I could be wrong. It may be much more technically involved than that, but I don't know.
I don't see
I just like
technical. Again, I mean, the directive from council and all the recommendations, we're not going to have staff going out taking different videos. This is available from the vendor. So we'll try and collect information from the vendor and go ahead and forward that to you.
Or
I do not recall I ever saw the new vans that they showed them to us in a picture or something in some other meeting.
Well, then if they can just go back and send it to us again, but I would like to see what I was asking for, if possible. Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And if you want to continue, I'm sorry, so I was trying to see if we had the specs, but I did not have them on me. Let me go ahead and share this back. The next item would be like Mrs. Parsa mentioned, I believe these items were put there many months ago. We've been recurring them. I don't know. I'm not sure if we've spoken on all of them. The next item would be the exploring revenue possibilities for the transit department. I know that was placed like months ago, and then this pandemic started, so we hadn't had a meeting to discuss. I'm not sure in reference to who had brought it up way back when.
At this point, you know, the way we are through this pandemic, it really puts a halt on everything. It's very rough. So I would say that we go ahead and, for now, just leave it for a later date until we bring it back up. Unless the committee says different, then, you know, I'll be more than glad to hear their discussion on it. Mr. Vice Chair?
Mr. Chairman, if you like, we can always table this until or include it in the budget report at some future meeting. Because as it sounds right now, the brief report that we had previously mentioned some sources of monies and that we would be able to go through the fiscal year possibly, but then we don't know anything after the fiscal year, or we don't really know what the federal government is going to pass or not pass. So I understand that, and if you'd like, we can just table the item until there is something to report.
I have a concern.
Go ahead.
I'm not too sure what the scope is on the transit department's revenue and what the entire scope of like paratransit would be. So like to what extent we can get this information on. But I feel that now more than ever, the citizens need leadership. They need guidance. They need to know, they need to have a little bit of certainty of what's going to happen. I don't think that we're going to continue to have a huge range of unemployment just because we will be having elections in November, right? We're moving up towards a different trajectory. So I think it's important to stay in touch with the staff and to kind of understand what they're doing, regardless of the fact that we are going through this pandemic. They're still in business, they're still being staffed, they're still employees, there's still issues circumventing all of these issues that we sit here to discuss, that we're supposed to discuss. And so I would just like to add that I'd like to get more in touch and understand the goals of the paratransit department or the transportation department itself, or whatever the scope permits. I feel that we should align with that. I don't really appreciate spending time here and not, simply approving things and just it feels like a waste of time. So I would like to have more activity if possible, even if it does circumvent the revenue, exploring the revenue possibilities for the transit department. And I'm talking about in the timeline that we can do something. Obviously, they just got $9.8 million from the CARES Act, and I would like to understand how that money is going to be used. It's going to continue to subsidize all of these things, but where are there areas where we can help? And even if it's just providing leadership, I think that that's important. And I'm talking about leadership to the community with this, because they don't want us to just leave them, in the clear, not knowing, what this money is going to be going towards to. And I know that there isn't a social media platform for specifically paratransit, but I feel like that can help. And just listening to what the constituents, right, have to say, because right now they just need a lot of support and emotional support. And I just feel like knowing these things is really going to help us kind of understand how we can help them.
Thank you, Mrs. Coyle.
And I totally agree with you on that part. That that we need to show our we need to show our support, especially to all the elderly and everybody that rides the transit. You're totally correct on that. And I know by you saying, where that 9 point something is going to go to, that's a very good question. And that's what I was asking. Anybody else with any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just a question, not necessarily a discussion.
Go ahead.
Was that like something that we could put in a form of a motion for our next meeting?
Most definitely. So, Miss,
I'm not sure how you want to word the motion.
That's what I was going to ask her.
Yes. I would like to
Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to motion to have a discussion on the goals of the staff and what the funds are going to be used for and how we can participate in either the leadership or distribution of information and support really for what's going to be happening within the next few months.
We need to be put up abreast on what's going to happen and how they're going to use those funds and how they're going to be distributed.
I would second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. We have a first and a second with everybody in agreement to. Would you please signify by saying aye?
Aye.
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 Motion carried.
I know it's a pretty long motion, but I guess is there any way in simpler terms how you want to, I guess, a broad, you might want to word it on it. If you want to word it exactly as mentioned.
Discussion on paratransit goals with funding, specifically the 9.8 million, and distribution of information to constituents.
Okay.
Do those two fall out of line, or they're still within the same scope, right? Because we're discussing the goals and we're still discussing like the distribution of information of those goals, or would those two be different things, like two motions?
It should be just an amended motion.
Yeah, it can fall under one same motion. It's pretty much the same thing. If we're gonna discuss the distribution of the information of the paratransit goals, and it can fall within the same scope.
Yes, I would think so.
Okay, so are we clear on that? Mr. Vergara?
Yes.
Out.
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, so I believe the next we're done. Because we had already appointed our vice chair. We have nothing under executive session. Any other discussion?
Miss, I'm not sure if everyone saw the comments, but just a quick comment. Ms. Amiel did mention to let you all know that the city budget workshop does begin today. In case anyone is interested in reference to, maybe it might answer a lot of your questions to funding. Not necessarily just us, but the city as a whole. So the budget workshops did start today at 5:30. They are live on WebEx if you guys would like to join and be part of it. I know you can't submit public comments for today's meeting, but it continues tomorrow as well. So if you want to submit anything in support of transit or any public comment you might want to say, it's open to the public. I just wanted to mention that because I know Mr. Miel put it in the comments to let everyone know. Look, if you don't click to open the chat, you're not going to be able to see the comments.
Is it at 5:30 at City Hall, Mr. Reyes?
They're not allowing anyone from the public, but they are doing it, I believe, through WebEx. I'm not sure if they're doing it on the public access channel as well, but it is there. It has started today. Just wanted to
Okay.
FYI. And that's pretty
Are
much
we, we haven't motioned to adjourn, right? I have one other statement I would like to make.
Go ahead, Ms. Escobedo.
In regards to the time that we do meet, is there any other possible time for everybody on this call, or is this like the best available time for everybody?
I believe
It was voted on.
committee can vote on it. If you want to change the time, you can even change the date. The bylaws just say that you have to meet once a month. It does not state what time. The committee has voted on Tuesdays, and the time is your preference, and you all can vote on that.
Mr. Avila, how many people do we have here that their work schedule would interfere with daytime instead of in the afternoon?
Well, for me, myself, yes, it does throw me off on my work schedule because like right now I'll finish this off and I'll have to stay. We've been at it for an hour and something. I'll have to make up that time here at the office, which is no problem with me, but if we can move it at a later time, that's fine. I just don't want to put a burden on the staff, at what time, Mr. Varela, is there a latest time that we can have?
I think Mrs. Escobedo was trying to mention an earlier time, not a later time.
Oh, earlier time. I'm sorry. My bad. No, I would not be available for no earlier time than that. I'm sorry.
You can vote on it.
Yeah, because as
You
everyone,
can, Mrs. Covelo, you can propose a time. So let's just say, for example, at 12 noon, you can propose that time, you can vote on it, and if the committee votes on it, then you'll know where you stand from there.
Okay, I think we'll leave it at this because I think we have, I don't think anybody else has a problem with it so far. So I'll just go ahead and leave it as what it is now. That's fine. I won't make a motion.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now that we're discussing this, how about a day of the week? Because once we get, I with my travel schedule, it's tough for me to get on anything that is not on a Monday. Anything past Monday, it's tougher for me because I will be traveling. But that's not right now. It's once we get past COVID. So just to put that in the committee's mind, that at a later date we'll talk about it.
yes, you guys can always, like Mr. Sparsa mentioned, you guys can always discuss it, bring it up in one of the meetings and take a vote on it if you guys want to change. Because I know you guys did vote for every second Tuesday of the month and the 5:30. You guys can make changes and vote on it. If the committee is in agreement, and if yes, you can go ahead and make changes.
You can make a motion to add an item to the next agenda on new proposed date and time for monthly PAC meetings.
Is that Mrs. Covello?
Would you like to bring that up for the next meeting?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Is there, Mr. Avila, can you ask for?
Yeah, you have a motion, Mr. Avila, to bring up discussion of the time and day for the meetings.
Can we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Everybody in agreement, go ahead and signify by saying aye.
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 We'll go ahead and put it down as a discussion with possible action. That way, if you guys decide to do changing, you can go ahead and take a vote right there.
Thank you. Can we have a motion? Is there any other discussion before we go to adjourn? Anybody else? Can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Centeno.
I'm
Can we
glad
have
we
a
were able
second?
to have a good meeting.
Can we have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Can we, everybody in agreement, go ahead and make it an adjournment meeting? Go ahead and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, board members. We appreciate the concerns. Staff, have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Meeting has adjourned 6:50 p.m.
Thank you, sir.